Hi everyone, welcome back to ASX Market Watch and charting trend signals around the world. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here checking out the markets. A great way to spend a couple of minutes on your weekend just to determine which way 3 out of 4 stocks might be heading, because we believe 3 out of 4 stocks follow our overall index, of course. Now, really quickly, actually, we're going to look at Germany as well this week, just because Germany's emerging as really the guys with all the money in Europe, I guess, and the ones who are pushing all the buttons at the moment. Also, we're looking at down under Australia, the Americas, the Dow Jones or S&P 500, and the FTSE as well in Europe as well as Asia. We'll look at Hang Seng, maybe the Shanghai Composite and the Nikkei in Japan as well. It's good to see where the world is heading. Really quickly, down under Australia, this is the All Ordinaries. This week has been a great week. We've had some really solid earnings come out, and I'll show you the industries as well, actually, that I'm looking at. These are the last 5 days. It's closed above that 200-day moving average, which is that yellow line there, and it's also closed above the previous peak here. Now, look, that's good enough for me, basically. Some people would wait for a close above the 4,400 or above this particular bar here. That one, as you can see, it's got quite a long tail. It might mean that there's sellers at that level, but that was literally 4 months ago, and so really, yeah, the people may not be, the sellers may not still be around that level. So yeah, look, I mean, that's as good as a short-term entry signal for me as I'd be very happy with, and still a close above 4,400 would be a medium-term entry signal for me as well, personally. So yeah, really good stuff. Just really quickly as well, if we were to look at some relative strength, this is the All Ordinaries here, and the best one, actually, okay, so the red line is now the industrials sector, the XNJ. The blue line is now the All Ordinaries. Now, basically, as you can see, so that's the All Ordinaries, and actually we need it to be about, probably give it a bit more time here. Yep, close. There we go. That's perfect. So there's your industrials. As you can see, it's just absolutely going gangbusters over the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks. We called the industrial sector to being a strong sector way back here a couple of weeks ago. Probably, yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and since then, and since the earnings season has really sort of come into full swing, it's just absolutely gone off. Other ones that are starting to take off is healthcare, and what else did I see there? Consumer discretionary is making a comeback. Now, as you can see, the red line, consumer discretionary, is still underneath our All Ordinaries, so it's still underperforming the All Ordinaries, but as you can see, it is, see that it's really sort of making a comeback over the last couple of weeks. So, or over the last 1 week, really. Energy is also making a bit of a comeback at the same time as well. But industrials, absolutely rocking. A lot of great entry signals in the industrials sector at the moment. Absolutely loving it. Alright, back to the action really quickly. Well, let's check out the FTSE, and again, nothing's changed. We had an entry signal. See, there's a downtrend line. Call that entry signal. As you can see, the market's still heading up, and as you can see also, we've got our uptrend line here. Now, that uptrend line would give us, if it closes below that uptrend line and then below the previous trough, that would be a bad sign. What I'd be looking for is below this particular trough here, so that would be my sort of exit type signal on a short-term basis on the FTSE at the moment. Until then, you need to give it a bit of room to move, and there's really just almost no volatility at the moment, just because there's lots and lots of cheap money flowing into these markets. I think $1 trillion worth of money was lent by the European Central Bank at 1%. And what would you do if you could borrow money at 1%, guys? I mean, seriously. You'd put it into the markets, wouldn't you? You'd try and make some money. This is the German DAX. So, as I said, Germany is really sort of taking Europe by storm at the moment. And, rightly so. If they're the ones with the goods on their balance sheet, then fair enough. Basically, as you can see, had a short-term entry signal, again, about 2 months ago. And even though the German DAX has fallen with the recent sort of Greece goings on, because Germany's mainly funding their bailout, it's still holding up very strong. So the German DAX is still in an uptrend. I would give it give it a lot, give it enough leg room to sort of move around, give it enough volatility, even though there's very low volatility at the moment. 6,400 would be the exit signal on the DAX at the moment for myself personally, just to give it enough wiggle room there. Now, really quickly, the Dow Jones, very similar situation on the Dow Jones. Again, got an entry signal a couple of weeks ago, still going strong. Happy days. None of this is difficult or rocket science in any way, shape, or form. And again, we were looking at like a potential Elliott wave, wave 3 on this particular wave. So look, if that is the case, we're looking at 14,000 on the Dow Jones. Now, if the market does hit 14,000, expect a lot of resistance at that level. And yeah, so, well, there's really not too much more that I can say about that, other than that it's definitely in an uptrend at the moment. And an exit signal will be about 12,500 to close below that at this stage. But until then, yeah, still the uptrend does continue. We've already looked at the FTSE and the Hang Seng. Yep, again called an entry signal a couple of weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago now. And yes, the Hang Seng definitely continues upwards. I think we called our first target at 21,700, and if we just enlarge this, where did it touch? It pretty much touched exactly 21,700 right there, smack bang on that level. That's awesome. And again, that's just the power of these projections, these price projections. I teach them at my site, asxmarketwatch.com. It's part of the complete course. It's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, you've got to use them with your solid entry and exit signals and tight money management as well. So in the meantime, it's still in an uptrend, and I think we gave a top target of 24,000 on the Hang Seng. So yeah, in the meantime, the uptrend does remain. Good times. It's it's good to be in the market at the moment. A lot of money flowing into the markets at the moment, which is really good. Nikkei, wow, I actually haven't seen the Nikkei chart until just now. So this is Nikkei in Japan, called a new uptrend here, reluctantly. But hey, I'm glad that we did eventually, because, well, shablam, look at that. What is that? That's like almost a 10% gain. Oh man, that is good stuff. But yeah, and as you can see, again, that downtrend line, see that downtrend line that would usually give us resistance. What has happened is it's a lot of liquidity has been pumped into it, and that's basically caused it to shoot past that level. So it's shot past that resistance, which means that it locks in the bulls and it gets rid of the short traders as well, or the the bears basically. Yeah, so not rocket science in any way, shape, or form. And actually, if we were to look at this from an Elliott wave point of view, really quickly, we could expect a target of potentially 9,800. Anyway, well, it's sort of in the zone for a reversal at the moment, but you know what? Just still use your solid entry and exit signals. The 261.8%, which is one of the levels that a wave 3 can go to in Elliott wave. That would bring it to 9,850 on the Nikkei. Really quickly, last but not least, let's look at China, Shanghai in China. And Shanghai in China is finally starting to turn around, guys. It's given us a short-term entry signal. As you can see, a little zigzag up, tiny little zigzag. It's not really on a medium-term entry signal yet. But yeah, basically it has crossed that trend line and made a little zigzag up. So that is a short-term entry signal for myself. And as you can see, it's just peaked above the 150-day moving average as well, which is another very good sign. So, yep, that would be in a short-term uptrend. And again, just be very mindful. I'd keep a stop loss about halfway down from that particular move, and that's actually where the 50-day moving average is at the moment as well. For the savvy amongst you, 22,270 is that level there, and that's the world. That is the entire world, or at least the world that we look at, the main indices that we look at from a chartist point of view. Awesome times. Hope everyone's trading is going well. Really, if you've only got a little bit of information on how to trade, you should be doing well enough in the markets at the moment, because most of the markets around the world are heading up. So guys, have a great week. Happy trading. I will see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.